Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
All right, guys, welcome to a very special Friday weigh-in show. The two fighters weighed in. Vasyl Lomachenko weighed in at an even 135, and Teofimo Lopez weighed in at 135 pounds as well. Both fighters look good. There was really not too much in terms of like the way they looked. Both fighters looked really good. Teofimo got on the scales, looked confident, looked ready to go. He looked ready. He didn't look tight, but he looked ready. You know what I mean? He didn't seem as though happy-go-lucky self or whatever. Vasyl Lomachenko looked fine. He looked emotionless, really, getting onto the scale and everything. He looks like he always does, you know, just kind of lacks emotion, kind of go out there and does a job. But as soon as the weigh-in was over, something interesting happened. They set each other up for the face-off. Now, there's two barriers stopping these guys from getting together. That's what, you know, with the whole COVID thing. And I don't know if Teofimo came in between the barrier or what, but Lomachenko ducked under the barrier and got right in his face, which was real uncharacteristic of Lomachenko. I don't know. I mean, it was interesting. Lomachenko also said that after the weigh-ins, they interviewed Teofimo, and at that point, he seemed. I don't know. He didn't seem. He seemed a little bit shook up that I don't know about shook up is the right word, but for lack of a better term, maybe excited that happened. A little bit like, oh my God, what just happened? Lomachenko, of course, after the weigh-in, said that he wanted to end the fight earlier. I don't know how they translate it, but he said he wanted to end the fight early and he wanted to fight him for all 12 rounds. So I don't know what he said. You know, I don't know if they translated it. Clearly, they didn't translate something correctly. But so when I looked at it, nothing really there to change my mind. Both guys looked like they probably should have. You know, JC I think said it the best. Both of them looked dialed in. Short of that, man, we got a fight tomorrow, and I'm excited, man. I still, like I said, don't know. I don't know where to go in this one, man. B, what were your thoughts on the weigh-in?
Can I be honest with you?
Sure.
I think they should call the fight off, man. It's a fucking mismatch. When I looked at Lopez,
oh come on! This is what you do. This is funny. This is what you take a fighter and you just ride with them.
That's what I do.
Oh,
that's what I do.
You can't ever look at anything objective. Come on. So because he didn't look bigger. Honestly, he did not look that much bigger. When I expected a big size difference, they didn't look that much bigger.
I think he looked frame wise. I think he looked bigger than me. He looked like a fucking welterweight.
Well, he's gonna be. They said that's what they said, man. He's gonna be like 147 tomorrow. So,
listen, you're one of the people that similar to the Fury. When I was talking about Fury versus freaking Klitschko, I was saying this. I was saying the same. Not. I was saying the same thing. I think this is a mismatch, bro. Sorry. I think this is a mismatch.
Wow.
I think it's a mismatch. I'm not even a religious person, but I'm going to go light a candle for Vasyl Lomachenko tonight. I'm worried about it.
You know what? I was doing some research this week, and, you know, because I did pick Lomachenko for this. I picked Lomachenko for this fight. Based on, you know, for me, he's got more ways to win. Lopez doesn't have. I don't see Lopez winning a unanimous decision. I don't see Lopez winning a decision. I just see. I can see Lomachenko win a decision. I can see Lomachenko stopping him. I can see Lopez knocking him out. You know what I mean? But I think Vasyl has more chances to win, more ways to win rather, than Lomachenko does.
I think this whole thing about Lomachenko not getting hit it's just a fallacy. If he's been getting hit more than ever at lightweight. I'm not a CompuBox guy, but according to their stats, it kind of matches up with what I've been seeing. if you go back and you watch these fights at lightweight, and he openly said it, he goes, "Yeah, I am getting hit more because I'm having a harder time with these guys because they're bigger and they have a longer reach."
Bigger guys.
He's not his. I'm not going to down the guy, but you guys, and I say you guys because I think you're in this camp. I just think, in my opinion, you guys are overrating his defense. I think he's all legs. He's not a guy. When he stands in the pocket and exchanges, he is getting hit. He's not using head and upper body movement. Go back and look at when he fought Linares. Linares was supposed to be shot. In Linares' very next fight, he got knocked out in 2 rounds. And Lomachenko struggled with Linares badly. He was down. He was even on one card and down on the other after 10.
Yes.
Luke Campbell was pushing him back, and he buckled him a couple times, and he snapped his head back.
Luke Campbell also lost every round.
Well, I gave Luke Campbell. I thought he won 4 rounds. It's my scorecard.
Yeah, I think the judge.
I thought the fight
one had it 118. I think 118.
117, 117, 109. It was wide. The scoring was wide.
Yeah.
I thought it was a competitive fight. I had it 8-4. That was me. I mean, I thought it was a good fight. So I just see something, and I'm excited about it because I like the changing of the guard. Yeah. I like seeing a new face. I like seeing a young kid come up and just take the torch from the old guy. What Fury did to Klitschko, I like that transition in boxing. And I do get like this, you know why? Because I'm excited for this fight. And nobody loves an upset more than me. And I see the potential for an upset. And everybody, it's crazy because when you go on YouTube and you listen to everyone talk, it's 50-50. But when you go talk to the experts, so-called, the fighters, the managers, people at the networks, the commentators, they're all picking Lomachenko. I think that's kind of like a corporate thing. I don't know. Could be. But yeah, you're 100% right. I do get like this because this is the fucking Super Bowl for me right now.
It's huge, isn't it?
It's a huge fight.
This is the fight of the year so far. The fight of the year. Now we got my opinion too. Now, and I mean, this is really like the Super Bowl. I mean, like for fighters, for fighting, for boxing fans, it doesn't get any bigger than these two.
And here's another thing. I don't know if you picked this up, but when Teofimo did walk up on the stage, go back and watch it. He motioned his hand. He told Lomachenko, "Come on," and that's why Lomachenko. Did you see when he did that with his hand? He goes,
"No, I missed that whole thing. I missed that whole thing."
Go back and watch it.
I saw him get under the thing and just scoop under the rope or whatever and get in his face.
Because Teofimo went up there and I thought Teofimo went up in his face and he motioned him to come on, and Lomachenko went right up in his face. He met him right there.
Was that what that fool Kriegel was talking about when he said he stepped to you or something like that?
Yeah, he stepped to him. Go back and watch it.
I hate that stupid term. He stepped to you. What does that even mean? You know what I mean? Like, dude,
it's a term we use. It's a street term.
It's a street term.
It's a street term. It's a slang.
It's a term we use. It's a street term.
I know in Ohio, in those suburbs, you guys don't talk.
We don't have that here. I
mean, this is how it is in the big city. So yeah, he did. Teofimo walked up there. And he did kind of step to him, and he motioned with his hand, "Come on."
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a sports psychologist, but I'm just going to be honest with you. This reminds me again how Fury got in Klitschko's head a little bit. I think Teofimo is getting. And I was talking to a guy on a panel yesterday. I was on a 6-man panel yesterday, and Dave Duenas said the same thing. Shout out to Dave Duenas, leave it in the ring. Whether this plays or not into the fight, Lomachenko is a professional. He's been here before, whatever. But he said a conflicting thing. He was like, "I want to punish him. I want the fight to end early, or I want to go 12 rounds, whatever." But the thing is this: if this is personal for Lomachenko, this is a situation where he's really never been in. He's used to guys not really looking. Same thing with Klitschko. A lot of the guys that were fighting Klitschko at that time, when Klitschko wasn't beaten in 10 years, it was never lost by decision, and the only time he lost by knockout. All the opponents were in awe of him. This is uncharted territory for Lomachenko. He's not used to a guy who doesn't really respect him. He probably does respect him, but he's not showing him respect.
Right.
And he's kind of being, he's goading him, kind of trying to get under his skin. It looks to me like it's working a little bit, but again, that doesn't tell the story. But if Lomachenko does try to fight more aggressive than normal because of this guy getting in his head, and he's saying things like, I want to hurt him and this and that, the way I break this fight down, and I said it yesterday, I think this is like Marquez versus Pacquiao. You know how Pacquiao was the guy moving in and out? Marquez kind of just waited, and Pacquiao just kept walking right into the right hand. If you go back and look at the Linares fight, Lomachenko was walking into a lot of right hands. Pedraza was hitting it with the right hand. Luke Campbell was pushing him back. I just think that when Lomachenko does stop and slide in to the mid-range of that pocket, he's not mobile anymore. He's throwing combinations. That's when he gets hit. He can get caught in that mid-range area. He's not like a Mayweather or a James Toney. He's not going like this and that. His legs are everything. So he's going to go, like I said, side, stop, middle, slide into the mid-range pocket. He's going to go ba, and he's going to pivot out right. That's what he does. He's not going to stand there and dip, duck, slip, and slide, and this and that. And because of that, he's been getting touched. If you look, even the punch stats, like I said, the CompuBox, they're saying he's getting hit with 6.5 more power punches a round since he moved up to lightweight. Now, 6.5 times 12, that's about 77 punches more. He's getting hit with 77 punches more if the fight goes 12 rounds at lightweight than he was at featherweight and super lightweight. And he has been getting hit with a lot of right hands. He has been walking into that right hand. And he does pivot out same side, right, all the time. He's kind of, like I said, he's a pattern guy. When you got a guy like Teofimo Lopez who can adapt, and he's a good counter puncher, and he's explosive, he's quick, you give him that little time, that little space, you stay still just a little bit too long, he's going to make you pay for it. And style-wise, I just think this is a great fight for Teofimo Lopez. And I just don't, I'm not convinced that this is the right weight class for Lomachenko. I'm just not. When I see a guy like Luke Campbell pushing him back, and I'm seeing Pedraza go the distance with him when Tank blew him out, and I'm seeing Pedraza do some good things on the outside with the jabs and the right. I mean, I don't know.
Wouldn't you agree though? Jorge Linares, Luke Campbell, and Jose Pedraza have better footwork than Lopez.
No, I don't. Because
really?
Again,
Lopez,
don't.
If you watch Lopez, you watch him. He stands flat-footed. He's a flat-footed fighter.
So is Roberto Duran. So is Marvin Hagler. Hold on for 1 second. I have to just turn something off because the TV was down and it just went up. Well, give me 1 second. I'll explain my point to you. Because this term flat-footed is a derogatory term, and it really shouldn't be, and I'll explain to you why. Just because a guy doesn't move around the ring and fight on his toes, you know what the term flat-footed really means if you look it up in the dictionary? Clumsy, awkward, unappealing. But that's not what
we mean in the fight game, though.
Okay, but it's used inappropriately because it's used with a negative connotation. Because Roberto Duran is a flat-footed fighter. Can we agree on that?
D-Lo, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Marvin Hagler is a flat-footed fighter?
Yeah, Marvin Hagler is a
lightweight?
Yeah. He's a flat.
No. know.
Eric, come on.
Man.
Eric,
I
come
don't
on.
know about that one.
Eric, come on.
You didn't think he moved around a lot of lightweight?
No.
Really?
He didn't fight on his toes. Did Marvin Hagler fight on his toes?
Was he a Sugar Ray Leonard at lightweight? Okay, I get you. I get your point.
Welterweight. Bernard Hopkins, did he fight on his toes?
No.
No, because some guys don't use their legs. Like Lomachenko, guys like Lomachenko, Pernell Whitaker, Sergio Martin, that's a style, okay? Just because a guy moves a lot doesn't mean that he's better than a guy that doesn't move a lot. You don't have to move a lot in the ring. A lot of guys make subtle moves. Marquez wasn't a guy that fought on his toes either. You can go down a list of many great fighters, so-called flat-footed. Why? Because they don't move around a lot. Just because a guy doesn't dance around the ring. I mean, that's just a style. So automatic. Okay,
but let me interrupt you here again. Jorge Linares, Luke Campbell, and Jose Pedraza. You're not saying they had better footwork than Teofimo?
Absolutely not. Wow. What constitutes good footwork? In my opinion, balance, body positioning, knowing how to pivot, knowing how to slide. How can you judge? How could you say that their footwork is better? What can they do that Teofimo Lopez can't? Just because
we're gonna find out tomorrow. I mean,
just because a guy, but this is a misconception. There are guys that Bernard Hopkins, did he move a lot in the ring either? No. James Toney, did he move a lot? These guys were all flat-footed because they didn't fight on their toes. So just because a guy doesn't fight on his toes, just because a guy doesn't move a lot, just because a guy doesn't have a pretty style to watch, a flamboyant, flashy style to watch, all this smoke and mirrors that Lomachenko does, I'm not taking anything away from him. But people are in awe of this high tech and this movement and all this and that, and the pitter pat and this and that. It's his style, but that doesn't mean just because he does those things that he's any better or he can be more effective than anyone else. There's been fights when Floyd Mayweather fought Maidana, he stood right there with him. He didn't even move. He wasn't even. He fought that fight flat-footed. When he fought Conor McGregor, obviously that's a stupid fight to compare, but again, the whole term of flat-footed, just because a guy doesn't move doesn't mean. To me, a guy that has good footwork, body positioning, balance, shifting the weight properly, pivoting. You could make subtle moves and have outstanding. Roberto Duran had phenomenal footwork. He had phenomenal footwork. Marquez had phenomenal footwork, if you go back and look at it. But those guys were flat-footed. Roberto Duran didn't fight on his toes. He didn't. He was a swarmer. He was an aggressive guy. He stepped to you. He wasn't a guy that fought on the perimeter and moved side to side and fought on his toes. He was a swarmer. Marvin Hagler was a swarmer. James Toney was a slick guy that stood in the pocket. You know, George Foreman, like all these guys. You don't have to be a mover to be a successful fighter. Teofimo Lopez is a guy that he's a quick, adaptive, reactive fighter. He's a counterpuncher, and he can step to you subtly. I don't think Luke Campbell has better footwork than Teofimo Lopez. Does he move more? Maybe. Linares, does he move more? Yeah. But just because that's just my opinion. Just because a guy moves a lot doesn't mean he has better footwork than someone who doesn't move a lot. That's my whole take on the thing. I hear this word flat-footed be thrown around all the time, like it's a bad thing to be flat-footed. A lot of great Hall of Fame fighters were flat-footed. Can we agree on that?
Do you think it's a bad thing in this instance?
No.
Going in to fight a guy like Lomachenko?
But again, because you have to look at the style. He moves, but then he stops. And he has to stop, plant his feet in the pocket in the mid-range, and throw punches. And he stays in that pocket a little bit too long sometimes. That's why he gets hit with right hands. He's not like Pacquiao. Pacquiao was like Pacquiao would go in, and move it like this guy stayed. Watch him. He stays there. And then Pacquiao goes in, out. He goes side to side, stops, slides in there, and he goes boom, 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 boom. And then he pivots out to the right. Pacquiao's like in, out, in, out. He came in on angles. Go back and watch the Luke Campbell fight. Go back and watch the Linares fight. Go back and watch the Pedraza fight. Go back and watch all these fights at lightweight. He stops in the pocket and stays there. And he pivots out to the right every time. Every time he's pivoting out to the right. I'm just seeing things, and I'm not saying he's a bad defensive fighter. He's got a beautiful pair of legs. But you can't move the whole fight. And he doesn't move the whole fight. And he hasn't been moving the whole fight, particularly at lightweight, because he stops. And he stays in that pocket and exchanges. And if you go back and watch the Luke Campbell fight, Luke Campbell was pushing him back. He was forcing him backward.
But he still, again, lost just about every round. I
gave him 4 rounds.
The judges gave him, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he lost just about every single round except for 2.
So did that Japanese guy. That Japanese guy won 1 round against Teofimo Lopez, but yet that's a bad performance from Teofimo Lopez. Well, if on an off night you win 11 rounds, then I'll take the off night.
That's right.
Well, let me ask you this. And you know, if you have a different opinion on it, you have a different opinion on it. Did Luke Campbell push Lomachenko in that fight? Did you see him land clean shots? Did you see Lomachenko buckle at times in that, like 1 or 2 times in that fight?
Yeah,
did you see his head? Did you think that it was an easy, regardless of the scorecard?
No.
Was it an easy fight?
No.
Did it look like it was a tough fight for Lomachenko? Yes or no?
I think it was tougher than he expected, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it was tougher than most people expected. Yeah, absolutely.
And again, this is my opinion.
Like the guy that fought Teofimo, the Japanese fighter.
Yeah.
Who fought him. Clearly, I saw him put Teofimo in a place that I've never seen Teofimo go either. You know, I saw him hit Teofimo cleanly. I saw him, I don't know if he was necessarily wobbled, but he was definitely looked confused at times in there. You know,
wasn't it great? We can't. Right. Wasn't it great? But there's no question about it. But was the Linares fight a great performance for Lomachenko?
You know, the fact that he stopped him, the fact that he knocked him out,
it's fine.
You know, yeah, that's pretty good. But no, it wasn't. No. But we all know, and we can. The first thing everybody goes to in that was Gervonta Davis, or the Pedraza fight. I'm sorry, the Pedraza fight with Gervonta Davis. But again, we know combat math doesn't work. The triangle math doesn't work. But let's turn this around here for a minute. Let's. I have a
different opinion. I have a different opinion on that. But I mean, I see where you're going with it.
But let's turn this around for a little bit here, because we know you're picking Teofimo, okay, and I'm going to pick Lomachenko in this one. Okay, I just think that he has better footwork. I think he has more tools, and I think he's going to have a hard time if he goes to back him up. It's not just going to be him backing him up. Lomachenko is going to have something for that. Lomachenko fights in circles. Lomachenko is going to be able to stay off the ropes, and I think he's going to hit him. I think he's going to hit him a lot. I really do. I think that Lomachenko is going to get a lot of shots in. I don't know that Teofimo's been hit that many times. I don't know that Teofimo's handled this kind of, and I wouldn't say pressure per se, because there's no crowd there or anything like that. There's a lot of pressure. Pressure is not dialed up like it usually is. And at the end of the day, I think that Teofimo can take a loss. I don't know that Lomachenko can take a loss at this point in his career. I think he does take a loss in his career. It might be packing time. For Lopez, I think he can lose and still come back and be okay. So I think that with that instance, there's more pressure on Lomachenko. But let me ask you this. How does Lomachenko, in your opinion, win this fight?
Can I be 100% honest with you?
Yeah.
In my opinion, the only way Lomachenko wins this fight, honestly, you made a great point earlier when you just made that you did your little breakdown there. You said that Teofimo Lopez has never been in this type of event. In my opinion, if the event becomes too much for him on the night and he freezes up, that would be a problem for him. I'm going to be totally honest with you.
Yeah. But expound on that for a minute. So do you think, let me ask you a question though. Given the fact that there is no crowd, is that more or less, I would think, and again, I've never been in a situation, so I don't know. Wouldn't that be less pressure?
I think it would be less pressure, but still the magnitude of the event is what the event is.
Yeah.
It's a big fight, you know? And I think in my opinion, and I really believe this.
I know you do.
No.
Yeah.
This is what I believe. I do not think Lomachenko is going to move as much in this fight that he's done in the other fights. I don't.
Do you think? Let me ask you. Do you think? I mean, you think that the age is catching him, or
yes.
do you think it's the weight catching him, or both?
I think I said this before, and I hate to sound redundant. This is the wrong weight class. Yeah. At the wrong time against the wrong guy. You're just going to run into everybody fights nobodies until they fight somebody. Sure. This is Teofimo Lopez's somebody moment. Okay.
I never buy into that. I never really buy into that. I'll be honest with you. I never really buy into that. Well, he hasn't fought anybody, but he's fighting this guy who's a legend, or this guy who's fought and got, you know what I mean? I never really buy into that because it doesn't make the fighter any less good, you know, or any less talented.
When I go down the list of abilities, okay, hand speed, I believe Teofimo's faster than Lomachenko. Now, the reason why people would say Lomachenko's faster is because he throws more punches. He's like ba 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 ba. But Teofimo, it's easier to be fast if you're throwing pitter-pat. You know what I'm saying? Teofimo is throwing fast, explosive power punches. Like he's taking a left hook and just going boom like that. Can't even see it coming. Right hand's like, see how fast that right hand was? Now you could argue that maybe Lomachenko's faster in combination punching because he's throwing pitter-pat. To me, I just think Teofimo is faster, stronger, he hits harder. And this whole thing about boxing IQ, I don't think Teofimo is a boxing idiot. I think he's a smart fighter as well.
Yeah, I think so too.
The reason why I love this fight for Teofimo Lopez is you got a guy that's coming to you. You got a guy that everyone thinks this guy is such a defensive wizard. And I'm not saying he's a bad defensive fighter, but when he's on the offense, he gives you opportunities to hit him because he's not a guy that's bending, dipping, ducking, slipping, and sliding. He is pivoting out away. He's trying to pivot out away from you. He's trying to step back out. Okay? So when he's out, just like when Marquez fought Pacquiao, when Pacquiao came forward, Marquez slid back and let Pacquiao come to him. And then when Pacquiao went back out, Marquez followed him. Because when you're going back out, you're in a defensive posture and you're not in position to throw punches. So the whole transition thing with Lomachenko is when he's moving back, he's not in position. He's not going to stop and pop and try to catch you coming in. His offense is when he comes forward, boom, boom, stop and slide straight in. So when he's moving back, he's not prepared to throw punches back at you. Like with Mayweather, you know how Mayweather would slide back, and Marquez would slide back. These guys were dangerous moving backward. This guy's not dangerous moving backward. He's not a guy that's gonna stop and pop on you. He's an ambush guy. But the difference between him and Pacquiao is Pacquiao didn't stay in the pocket as long. This guy stays in the pocket long, and he doesn't slide back out. He pivots out. And then when he pivots out, all you got to do is cut him off at that pivot point when he's pivoting out. It's harder for Pacquiao following him out because he's so fast, and he would just go all the way out on you. This guy doesn't go all the way out. He pivots out to the side. That's why he's getting hit, because he's not getting out of range. He's pivoting out and he's staying there. And then he's in the pocket and he's staying there. He's not going far enough out when he's resetting. These are opportunities. And the other guys weren't as quick and didn't hit as hard and didn't have that adaptive, reactive, reflex action that this guy has. I'm just seeing that he's going to get hit a lot in this fight, more so, and the punches he gets hit with they're gonna rock him. They're gonna rock him. I'm confident on this. I just think that this is a great fight for Teofimo style wise. You're gonna have a guy coming right at you.
Tiny Tim, thank you so much. He says you can't say Loma will fight Lopez the same as Campbell. I agree with that. Two different people there. Let's see here. I think with Centurion Son asked me if I consider the winner the undisputed lightweight champion. I guess so. I mean, what's not to consider? I mean, what got all the belts, right? I mean, what's not to consider? B, would you agree with that or no?
Oh yeah, this is for the ring. This would be for the ring title as well.
Yeah, I think he's undisputed.
Yeah,
whoever wins this one, I think you got to say he's undisputed.
He'd be undisputed.
Now, where is Devin Haney at in all this? What is he?
I like Devin Haney, but I don't know, man. To me, the only problem I have with Devin Haney is I don't think he has that. To me, like, he doesn't have that killer.
He's the WBC, right? He's a WBC guy.
I think I'm not sure if he still has WBC or if they stripped him.
Did they strip? And they give me? Would Loma was like a super champ? I don't know. I can't keep track. I hate that.
Loma's a franchise champion now.
Right. And then so what did they? And then Haney was a champion, but then they said that I don't know. I don't know. Listen, but I think Haney is probably the best of the lot. I've always said that. I've said that from the get-go. I said I think he's the only guy that could beat Loma. I think he beat all these guys up here. Haney just, for me, passes the eye test. That's the guy for me. You know what I mean?
The things I see in Teo, you see in Haney.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that's fine. And that's fine.
Georgie says Wilder fought so-called competition for years, cut the BS. What are you talking about?
Where did that come from?
What is he talking about?
Eric, you know, you got a fucking bullseye on your back. Everyone just wants to come at you, man.
That's all right. That's okay. Georgie says Loma's competition is so not the best. Listen.
It's not bad. It's a good resume. I'm not going to shit on it. It's a good resume.
Can't dump on his resume. You may listen, man. Beeb gave us a great breakdown of how he thinks the fight's going to go. Okay? And it's based on his logic and everything like that. I gave a breakdown with it. The one thing that you cannot do is dump on either resume. You can say that Loma has a stronger resume than Teofimo, but you can't say that Teofimo fought bums. The same way you can't just say Loma's competition is so. Come on.
Well, as high as I am on Teofimo Lopez, I can't argue that Loma's resume is not better than his.
Right. Tiny Tim, thank you again.
Let me ask you another question.
Yes.
This doesn't really matter at all, but if Lomachenko retired tomorrow, would he walk into the Hall of Fame? I would vote him in. I'll tell you why I would vote him in. It's,
you know what?
I would vote him in, and I'll tell you why.
Well, I agree. You know, I'm on the fence about it. Because can you really walk in with just 16 fights into the Hall of Fame? But you base it on his body of work. I don't know.
But first of all, he's unified titles, which was great. I love that, number one. And the fact that he was able to win titles in 3 weight classes in the amount of time that he did against the comp. And again, I think he fought the best available competition. He ducked nobody.
Oh, Gary Russell, I thought, was going to wipe the floor with him. And I mean, it was just the complete opposite.
He fought good guys. So because of him unifying titles, and defending titles and spending decent amount of times in weight classes, and by winning 3 titles in 3 different weight classes in what, like 14 fights or 13. When did he win his third? When did he win his official third world title in his third weight class?
It was ridiculous. I mean, three. You think about that: 15 fights, 3 different titles in 3 different weight classes. I mean, that's unheard of.
What number fight though? What number fight did he win his first lightweight title? I think it was at 12th or 13th fight.
Yeah.
So winning 3 world titles in like 12, 13 fights, right? In 3 different weight classes. And not only that,
competition, top guys.
Against top solid guys. And not only that, you unified titles. You didn't just, like, no disrespect to Mayweather, but he made that pit stop at 140, fought Gotti, and then that was it, right?
Yeah.
Boom. This guy actually unified titles, fought the best available. Like, you can't say that there was anyone in any of the divisions that he fought in that he should have fought that guy. He fought everybody. Everybody.
Let me ask you this though: if he loses tomorrow, would you still vote him in?
Yes.
Still vote him in?
Yes.
It's tough to say no, right?
Yes.
G Funky Boxing has a question. He says, "Do you think Lopez beats everyone on Lomachenko's resume?"
Yes.
I do too, but there's a catch to it. I mean, you got to think that Lomachenko's coming up 3 weight classes. So it's not really a fair question as to could he beat Rigondeaux? Could he beat? I mean, Rigondeaux was like what, 130? You know what I mean? Could he beat everybody like Linares and stuff? Yes.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
G Funky, no disrespect. I'm not telling you how to ask this question, but I think a better way to frame this question would: could he beat everyone at lightweight? Because in fairness, he's always been a lightweight, Teofimo Lopez. So to say he would beat these, as Eric alluded to, I don't think it would be a fair comparison to ask that he would have to beat these guys at 126 and 130. So does he beat all the guys at 135 that Lomachenko beat?
Oh, I think so.
I would say yes.
I think Richard Comey. I mean, like I said, I think
Richard Comey could beat all the guys Lomachenko beat at lightweight, possibly.
Well, and I think Lomachenko could beat Richard Comey, and I think Lomachenko could beat all the guys that Teofimo beat. Honestly.
Yes, I would say so.
So they're both very well. It's a very well matched fight, man. Velocity Cut says, "What's the odds of a draw?"
I don't know. I haven't checked.
I would think slim and none. Slim just left town, man. This fight ain't going to be a draw. I cannot picture this fight being a draw. I really can't. So let's talk about this. Zakaria Khan said something, and as much as I broke down the fight for Loman, as much as you broke it down for Teofimo, okay, the one thing that stuck in my head after the weigh-in, and this is why I always wait for the weigh-ins, the one thing that stuck in my head after the weigh-in, I don't know how it was translated. I don't know if they missed the translation or what. He says, "I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to knock him out early. I want to fight all 12 rounds." Okay. That was the translation. But the fact that he said, "I want to knock him out. I want to knock him out early." I think he was saying, "I don't want to fight all 12 rounds," or whatever.
I think he wants to punish him. I think he wants to punish him for 12 rounds, is what he's trying to say.
I don't know, because he said he wanted to knock him out early. That's what
I thought he said he did. I thought he said he didn't want the fight to go early. I want to punish him for 12 rounds. I could have misinterpreted.
That's it. Maybe okay. Well, maybe
that's
you're right.
That's what I hope
you're right.
That's what I think he said.
Yeah, because if he said if he meant the other way around, I'm like, dude.
But then yesterday,
totally, not his style.
But then, well, it's again, whether this means anything or not, I do think Teofimo got in his head a little bit.
I think so too. I think you saw it. Well, you saw it.
Not to the point
that he ducked under, got in his face. That was very uncharacteristic.
Because Teofimo walked up to him like this, Eric. Go back and watch it if you can. And he went like this. He had his hand like at his waist, and he goes, yeah. And he told Lomachenko to come on. That's why Lomachenko did it. Now again, I'm not saying that he got in his head to the point where he's going to unravel because of it, but
he's there.
I think it's going to play a factor.
He ticked it off.
Yeah, I think it's going to play a factor in how he's going to be a little bit too brave for his own good, in my opinion, tomorrow night. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
I think you might be onto something, because again, man, when you get, the worst thing you can have in a fight is what? Emotion. Emotion is your enemy. Emotion is the worst thing you could possibly have going into a fight. The worst. You have to be emotionless in there.
Yeah.
Antonio Young says a draw might be in the works because this one is for free. You might be right, man. I don't know.
Still a little bit nervous. I'm still a little bit nervous for Lomachenko. I like the guy. He's got I'm going to light a candle for him tonight.
Got a family, Beeb. So you're betting on the fight, correct? You are actually betting money on the fight.
I may have to take a trip down to Seabrook because we have a sports book now at the Seabrook dog track. We can
dog track.
No, we can. We have a sports book now, and we have a sports book in New England now. We're moving up. We're not like Ohio, man. We got this economy. We're booming down here.
Books all over here, son.
You guys get sports books down there?
Yeah, they're building one in. I think they built one or whatever. I think
you can actually bet. You can actually.
I think so.
You can actually bet on games.
You can, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can. Or I know in maybe Northern Kentucky they built one or something like that. But I know they're bringing it here. If they don't have it, they're bringing it here. They got a ton of casinos. So. Yeah.
Do you think the size difference was a lot when you looked at the weigh-in?
No, not when I looked at the weigh-in. And I mean, maybe tomorrow, you're going to have a good 7-pound edge on him. Maybe I think Loma is going to be probably 140. But you can, this is my take. You could tell that Lopez does, like when you looked at the bone structure and stuff, you could see he was bigger. Like he was a little bit bigger. Yeah, he was a little bit bigger frame-wise, but it wasn't like a massive difference. We expect, he's going to be Lopez to be stronger. I think there's no question about that. I expect him to be stronger.
He's going to be about 150 pounds tomorrow night.
Yeah, they said 140. They said welterweight or whatever. So yeah, I'll be interested.
I think Lomachenko probably will put on 5 pounds. He may be like 140. I think Teofimo Lopez will have a 10 to 12 pound weight advantage.
13 dislikes. B, what's going on here? 13 dislikes? Are you guys crazy?
Because
Friday night, Daddy. Me and Beeb have to be with you today.
I know. I'm gonna call out. I'm calling people out. I know who's doing it.
Who?
BDA Boxing. They're a bunch of Lomachenko fanboys. They made a breakdown video, and you know what they were doing?
What?
They were showing all highlights of Lomachenko doing great things.
Sure.
And then they were trying to grab highlights of Teofimo, like when he's throwing punches and like punches he missed and stuff. There's a lot of Loma fanboys on here. I'm telling you.
That's funny, man.
You'd be surprised.
It's funny how like people like just ride with. You know what I mean? Like
I do it to bust balls because I know it gets under your skin a little. I like to bust your balls a little bit.
Right.
I kind of rib you.
Yeah, but I mean, like for real, like people actually like.
But here's the thing. You know how much I love Tyson Fury. Like I really love Tyson Fury.
I think we both do. Yeah, we both do. We're both big Tyson
Fury.
But
we critique him fairly. Like we both know, and I don't want to speak for you, but tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
When he stepped away, that was his own fault that he stepped away because it was his own issues. Now, because he stepped away, should he come back and become lineal champion after he stepped away? No. We both agree with that, right?
Yeah, we do. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at this right here. Eric Russell says, Beeb didn't watch the entire 6-hour podcast. They went over the negatives and positives on both sides. Who's got time to watch a 6-hour podcast?
6-hour podcast.
Who's got time to do that, man?
In between
what?
In between eating, sleeping, going to work, going to the gym.
Don't you have jobs? Like, my man, like 6 hours? Come on, son.
Guys are ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, like when Tyson Fury, we're huge Tyson Fury fans, but we know when he popped positive for PEDs, it wasn't because of boar meat. Yeah. Like, we're not that fanatical, right, Eric? We're not to the point where we're just going to ride with a guy and
just ride with him. Right.
We can't go against logic. You know?
No.
And these other guys will go against logic. Like that Josh Taylor Regis Prograis fight.
Yeah.
I thought it was a close fight. I thought Prograis won 115 and 113. A lot of other people thought that Josh Taylor won. But because I had Prograis winning that fight, a Josh Taylor fan in my chat the other day was like, oh, how could you score that fight for Prograis? Josh Taylor clearly won that fight.
Close fight, man.
That was a close to me.
Fight.
One judge had it 114 and 114.
Could have went either way. Could have went either way.
Right? And this guy was like, oh, it was I scored at 117 and 112. How could you do that? And I said, well, you must have Josh Taylor under who's on. You're a fanboy, you know?
Yeah. No.
So I mean, come on.
13 dislikes. That's just disrespectful, people.
How many likes do we have? How many likes?
I don't know. I read it in the chat that we had 13 dislikes. I don't have it. My monitor's not working over here.
So. A lot of haters, man. A lot of haters. A lot of Loma fanboys. A lot of Loma fanboys.
Just we try to break the fights down, man. That's all we do. We break the fights down. Tell you who's gonna win. So I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you though. If you're betting money on this, I definitely hope Lopez wins because I don't want to see you lose, man. But at the end of the day, if somebody put in, and I'll be honest with you, man, I still don't know who's going to win. I tell you, I think that.
Well, you're edging Lomachenko.
I'm edging for Lomachenko.
If we put a gun to your head, your pick's going to be Lomachenko.
Lomachenko, yeah, I would have to pick
by decision or by knockout. By
decision, yeah.
All right.
Because I just think that, like I said, man, I think he's going to be able to move him around, and I think that the other thing too is I think that Lopez is going to be stronger, but I don't know that he's going to be able to push Lomachenko around. You know what I mean? It's kind of like in jiu-jitsu. Even if you're stronger than the other guy, it doesn't matter. You know, with the angles and everything like that. If I pin an arm or something, it's not really.
You still have to have leverage on the guys, which is what you're saying. Yeah,
for sure.
That's body, and then once again, that's body positioning.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, and I think that, and I do think that Lomachenko has better footwork overall. I think he has better hand speed, and I think he has more ways to win. If you watch, like I said, when I was watching Teofimo, was watching some film on him and film on Lomachenko, but I was watching the film on Teofimo, and he does tend to like stay there. He's more almost like a counter. He doesn't seem to really stalk people in the sense that like where he comes forward a lot, and even if he does, again,
he's a counterpuncher.
He's gonna have to deal with he's
a counterpuncher.
Which if he does, that might play to his benefit because then that makes Lomachenko the aggressor. But then can Lopez fight off the back foot? I don't know. We haven't really seen him in too many of those positions where he's fighting off the back foot.
He slides back a little bit, but he's not. But I don't think Lomachenko is going to force him back. He could, but I don't see that happening, to be honest.
Yeah. Notorious VC says, can we get a ringside Robbie prediction? Robbie takes Lopez. I just talked to him today. Robbie's taking Lopez.
I knew he was going to take Lopez because he saw the beep. He always rides with the beep, man.
Michael O'Brien said, this is giving me Spinks versus Tyson vibes. Feels like Loma will be stretched. I'm with Beeb. Feels like we're about to watch a murder. You know what? Listen, man.
This is a mismatch. I want this fight to be canceled. I'm scared for Loma right now.
You remember the Gerald McClellan, Julian Jackson rematch?
Yes.
And how that was a 50-50 fight going in, and he just pasted Jackson in that fight. The Tyson Spinks one was another one that was a 50-50 fight. For a lot, and you think about it, for a lot of the same reasons, this is a 50-50 fight. We had a better boxer. He was probably, I took Spinks was a better boxer. He definitely had a better resume, he had more experience, and he got stretched in that first round. That's the thing. That's the thing with this fight is it could go the distance, and I could see Lomachenko winning, but I could also see Lopez stretching this guy.
So let's do a percentage breakdown because on the podcast I was on yesterday, everyone was asked to give a percentage breakdown. Like, what percentage do you give Lomachenko, and what percentage do you give Lopez in terms of win?
70-30.
Wow, that's so 70 for the Lomachenko and 30 for Lopez. Wow, yeah. That's pretty wide.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think that.
So then it's not really a 50-50 fight for you then.
Well, it's a 50-50 fight in the sense that, like I said, I could see either guy winning. I could see either guy imposing his style on the other guy. That's what makes it for me a 50-50 fight.
The big thing for you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The thing for me with Lomachenko, to me, he has more ways to win.
Yeah,
than
that's
Lopez
what I was about to say. You can see Lomachenko stopping Lopez.
Yes,
and you can see him getting a decision. You can't see Lopez getting a decision.
I can't. The only way I can, and the only way I can really see him getting a decision is if it was like a Vernon Forrest, Shane Mosley kind of thing, where he hurts him early and then the rest of the way.
I can see him getting a decision based on the fact that I think Lomachenko is going to get knocked down a couple times.
That could be too. Yeah, that could be too, for sure.
So can I see him winning a decision? Yeah, I can. Again, I could see it. I could see a fight where it's quality over quantity.
Yeah,
like when Bernard Hopkins fought Joe Calzaghe. Remember that fight?
Yeah.
Some people thought Calzaghe won. Some people thought I actually thought Calzaghe won that fight, but a lot of people thought Bernard Hopkins
won that pretty easy.
Yeah, a lot of people thought Bernard Hopkins won that fight.
Really?
I actually scored that. Yeah, I scored it like 8-4 for Calzaghe.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, but a lot of people had
somewhere in there.
It was a split decision.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, I thought it was pretty clear for Calzaghe.
Yeah, I thought he won.
Boxing USA said the experience gap is too wide, in my opinion. Well, at the end of the day, again, experience is only, you can have a lot of experience, but just because I don't really agree with that, because there's nothing saying that Teofimo can't beat this guy, and you're always somebody until you fight. You're nobody till you fight somebody, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
At some point, you got to make your. At some point, every boxer's got to make his bones in the game. So,
because this isn't like he hasn't fought anybody coming in to fight Lomachenko. I mean, he's fought good fighters. He's fought good fighters coming in to fight Lomachenko. No,
Magdalena's a solid fighter. Richie Comey's a solid fighter. So I mean, he's fought good guys.
Yeah.
But Lomachenko has fought more good guys. It's fair to say that. I'm not going to dispute that. I'm not going to dispute that. Like, I'm not going to shit on Lomachenko at all. I'm not going to, he fought nobodies. A lot of guys would want to sit there and say Rigondeaux was too small, but those same people actually were picking Rigondeaux to beat Lomachenko, and they were saying Lomachenko was ducking Rigondeaux all those years. So
that's true. And I mean, that's the other thing. And that was the other 50-50 fight that we were, that I was thinking about, is him and Rigondeaux, and that was a complete whitewash.
Gary Russell is a very good fighter.
I thought Russell was going to beat him, man.
Yeah, I thought he would beat Russell.
I didn't think he was going to beat Russell, man. I thought that Russell was going to wipe him.
Yeah, Russell was a good one. Nicholas Walters was another good one. People thought that
Rigondeaux was a good one. And then, what kills me is that, like, it was a 50-50 fight going in. Sunday, whoever loses is going to be a complete bum. You know what I mean? Lomachenko, I told you he was overhyped. I told you he was overrated. If Lopez loses, he's a bum.
I told you.
Wasn't ready. He was,
I just told you, win, lose, or draw, he's going to be. I would vote him in the Hall of Fame. So I have the utmost respect for the guy.
Oh yeah, I mean, for both of them. I mean, really, for both of them, man.
And again, when I say someone is overrated, that doesn't mean he's not a great fighter.
Right.
Like people talk about this guy like he's unhittable. He's not Floyd Mayweather-esque. He's not Pernell Whitaker-esque. He's not that type of defensive fighter, in my opinion. And I think people are classifying him as such. Like the way, he's never, like Lopez isn't going to be able to touch him. If Luke Campbell can touch, all those other guys can touch him and they're slower, this guy's going to touch him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's going to get hit in this fight, for sure.
And here's another thing. In the Pedraza fight, I'm going to quote G-Funky. He looked like he fell down a flight of stairs. His face was all busted up at the end of that fight.
It's a tough fight.
So he's getting touched. So this whole thing about his defense is friggin' impeccable. He never gets hit. Like G-Funky said. And D-Style said, he's getting hit.
Michael O'Brien says, what's your final winning stake for Lopez? Does it finish inside of 8 rounds? Yeah, how does Lopez win this fight?
I'm picking 8th round stoppage.
8th round stoppage, okay.
I pick an 8th round stoppage.
Boxing USA says, salute to both guys. They didn't marinate this fight for 40 years. They gave it to us at the time we demanded it. And that's got to be, I tell you what, that's got to be for both guys to take this fight at this time and give us the biggest fight that we've asked for. I mean, it's, we didn't have to, like you said, we didn't have to wait for 4 years. They both deserve a lot of credit for this. They really do. No question about it, man.
Yep.
No question.
Yep.
All right. So we will be back tomorrow. You want to do a post-fight tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll do a post-fight.
All right.
I'll do a post-fight.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to stay? You're going to be able to stay up? You're going to be able to stay up?
I don't know. It ends at 1. I saw that it ends at 1, man. I don't know.
I'll make sure I'm caffeined up.
Yeah, I know. We got
I got to be up. A lot of people, because if Lopez loses, I can't hide from these people. I got to be a man. But I also want to be there to friggin' stick it to these, these Lomo fans too.
The BDA guys,
One way or the other, I got to be there.
That's right. That's right. He said, Boxing USA says stock up on the Red Bulls.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
We'll be lighting a candle tonight.
Say a few novenas,
I'm a little bit nervous.
All right, guys. Well, we will catch you probably tomorrow night for a post-fight and see how that goes, and we'll give you the winner. And then, of course, we have our show on Sunday at 7:00 right here. So we will catch you guys. Enjoy the fight, man, and we will catch you guys tomorrow.
All right, guys.